Hey, how's it going everyone? OutlawClient here, back again this week for another episode of A Bit of Shooting on the Side. This week featuring some Halo 4 online gameplay. Now this week I decided to do a bit of Ragnarok using the game mode King of the Hill. A game mode that I don't usually try out, but I thought I'd mix things up again. Like I always say every single episode, mix things up, mixing it up, doing a bit of cooking. But no, last week I spoke a bit about Halo 2 Anniversary, and for this week I was really set on talking about Halo 5, well, the newest Halo on Xbox One, and up until the point where I clicked play I was just so intent on doing it. Then I realised that what can I really talk about? I mean, apart from a few rumours flying around the internet and the original teaser trailer that was released last year back in, I believe it was June or July, there's not really too much to talk about. But again, I really don't mind doing discussions, maybe putting out a few speculations, but again, when there's such little information, I can't really speculate too much about it. Not as much as I could about Halo 2 Anniversary, especially when you consider that there was a previous Anniversary game, and it would make sense because this year, coming November, would be the 10th anniversary. But anyway, just as a quick rundown of the original trailer for Halo 5, or Halo on the Xbox One I should say, it starts off with a cloaked figure walking through the desert, and after a bit of walking, he sticks out his hand, or I should say his arm comes out of the cloak, which is at the point where we realise that this is in fact Master Chief we're looking at. And later we see that he turns his, well, he has something in the palm of his hands. We can't quite see it yet, but after he turns his hands around we notice that there is a chip in his hand, and that is shortly followed by a huge metallic bird-like structure emerging from underground. Now, the first thing that I want to say is that a lot of fans were saying, well, why on earth is Chief wearing a cloak? Why was he wearing a cloak in the trailer? Now, the first thing that I'd think is that this wasn't really story related in any sense. I think it was mostly just as a way of surprising fans and, you know, just people viewing the trailer. They really wanted to surprise people because, to be honest, I had no idea what game that was. I mean, I thought, hey, maybe it's Journey 2. I was like, hey, look, they're releasing a Journey 2. That's pretty cool. I might go and try out the first one now that I've seen it. But after his arm emerges, you realise that it is in fact Master Chief and no one else. But even though I don't really think it's really story related, I'd say that if I had to muster a guess, I'd probably say that it might be a way of just, you know, hiding from the enemies. You know, you saw that giant bird creature at the end. Chief might have been hiding from that, you never know. But again, you couldn't tell that it was Master Chief, and I'm guessing that any other enemies wouldn't be able to tell that's him either, so that could be an idea. He's walking around in a desert-like structure. Well, it's definitely not Earth. I think it's safe to assume that it's not Earth, as you can see another planet in the background after a bit of walking. So after a while, just before the bird-like structure comes out, we notice that he has something in his hand, and when we look closely after he's turned his palm around, we notice that it is in fact the chip that Master Chief used to have. The chip that Cortana was previously in. And of course, if you looked at the end of Halo 4, quick spoilers alert here, but at the end of Halo 4, you notice that Cortana actually disappears after she saves Master Chief from the Didact. So again, this story might heavily revolve around Chief looking for Cortana. Again, we don't know if it will like eventually branch off into something else bigger, sort of like the twist in Halo Combat Evolved, where of course Chief was fighting the Covenant and then this new enemy appeared, the Flood. So it could be some sort of twist in there, but at the moment there's not too much information, and that's only just a bit of speculation. Now after this, you notice that the huge metallic bird-like structure appears, and this huge structure is most definitely, well, I'd say it's a Promethean type monster. I mean, looking at the eyes, I think it has a similar style to the Promethean enemies encountered in Halo 4, and again, just with the whole advanced technology and everything, it all screams Promethean. So I'm thinking maybe Chief is going towards this. Maybe this is the key to unlocking Cortana, maybe finding her again, or like I was going back to the idea of his cloak, maybe it's a means of hiding from them, and unfortunately that Promethean machine found Chief. I mean, again, like I said, it's really too early to say anything. I mean, again, this might just be some one-off trailer where we never see it again, but who knows, we'll have to wait for some more information. Hopefully that will be released up in this year's E3. Well, anyway, I actually wanted to talk a bit more about Halo 2 Anniversary, maybe some features that I completely forgot about. And actually, on the topic of Halo 5, I wanted to say that I probably think it'll be coming out next year in 2015. I mean, there is really little information released on it, and although some will probably be released back in the upcoming E3 of this year, I just think it would probably be released next year. I just have a feeling it will be. But again, it's always a good sign because it will show that they're giving the game extra polish, more things to work on. And that's never a bad thing, to be honest. Who wants a half-finished game? Maybe me. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so for Halo 2 Anniversary, I believe it might... Well, it'll probably come out on its date, its anniversary, 10-year anniversary date, which is in November. But anyway, so going back to Halo 2 Anniversary discussion again, there were a lot of talk about people wanting some additional features, such as... Well, a huge one I heard was that a lot of people wanted to play the demo stage from the E3, or the E3 of 2004 demo of Halo 2. Now, a lot of people are getting really excited over it, and I'm sort of thinking, well, I don't really mind too much if it's not included. I mean, again, that trailer was just there to show off Halo 2's capabilities, mostly, the third-person turret perspective, the dual-wielding capabilities of the Chief, and so on, not really designed as a full level that would be integrated into the story. But if there is anything that I'd want them to take from the demo and implement in Halo 2 Anniversary, it would most definitely be the fact that the Marines are actually competent. I mean, if anyone's played the original Halo 2 for the Xbox, you'd know that the Marines are absolute idiots when it comes to driving, and especially when playing on modes such as Legendary, the Marines will get you killed quicker than the enemies. I mean, seriously, I don't know what is wrong with them. I mean, they'll drive into the wall and they'll allow you to get sniped. They'll just drive in really erratic directions and just pretty much not help you at all. Oh, and of course, when you're playing as the Arbiter, you also have your enemies stick you with plasma grenades. Sorry, your own teammates stick you with plasma grenades at certain points. So, yeah, they could definitely do with an AI improvement. I definitely would not be upset about that. Well, also I was thinking about certain things like additional enemies, like, the Flood Juggernaut. That enemy was back in Halo 2. It was never released, but I don't know, maybe we could get some sort of mode where all of these beta type enemies are added, or I really don't know. It'd be a really nice feature, or maybe even just some like a special hidden artwork mode where it just shows about what the developer was thinking at the time and everything. But anyway, that's enough about that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is all I have for this week. If you enjoyed watching this, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I will be back next week with some more Halo Online gameplay. So until then, see you guys later, and peace out.